Box Show. We'll be taking you through today's many gamed NBA slate. 13 games? That sounds about right.
You said NBA.
I'm Chris Beck. Is it 13? Is that correct?
It's an NFL slate, not an NBA slate, if that helps you.
Oh, yeah. Woo! It's a 13-game NFL slate. Guys, I woke up a little late today. I'm behind. The show ran late in front of us. I'm very frazzled. I'm Chris Spags, though, joined by my good pal, the Chubster, Josh Engelman, talking NFL, not NBA. So got that straightened away.
Yeah.
Whew. How you doing, Josh?
I'm good. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm tired, and like all this stuff breaking with Diggs now has thrown me for a loop because I had a fair amount of Thielen, and then you don't want to have Thielen if Diggs isn't playing, so that's not the best. But how are your lineups looking so far?
I'm feeling better than I normally do at 12:08.
Okay. What reason is that? Less frazzled? Do you have your stuff all on the line?
I don't know. It's just it seems to be coming together pretty well. So we'll see how I feel about it in 51 minutes.
Any sort of things coming up in your crunches which are different than this very chalky week in which a lot of people seem to be going the same direction?
Nothing too crazy. I don't know. Is Emmanuel Sanders like a hot take of being like heavy on someone?
I am on him too as a Jeff Driscoll supporter. I am also on Emmanuel Sanders as a run back.
Yeah, well, there's no need to support Jeff Driscoll, but I do like Emmanuel Sanders.
You will all rue the day that you did not get on the Jeff Driscoll train. This is a stronger train than the Josh Rosen train because Jeff Driscoll can run and he's looked good, whereas Josh Rosen is a coward. So those are my under 5K quarterback takes for the day.
I used Jeff Driscoll back in the day at Florida in NCAA football on Xbox. Do I get
bet
those
he was
points?
Really good. Very fleet of foot.
Well, it was all because of me. So unless they're getting coached by me today, it's probably not going to matter all that much.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Honestly, given how the Bengals are going, it couldn't really be worse if you were coaching them.
That's true.
See, people are talking like Diggs is out. Diggs is not out yet. So just so you guys were aware, he is a game time decision. So keep an eye on that. It probably will not get news on that during our show. But there will be news before the afternoon lock goes. So watch that closely if you are like me and you are a Adam Thielen supporter. Because there's so many ways to spend your money this week. What are you doing with Spencer Ware? The big question of the day.
Playing him. There's no real way around it. He's just too cheap. Sometimes you don't want to get too cute. I'm not going crazy. I don't have him in like 100% of my lineups or anything, but I think I have like 45, 50%.
Okay, yeah, that's about where I am too. He's at 50% projected ownership right now on our ownership rankings at awesemo.com, which you can get with promo code live before lock. That is a thing that we still do. You get a free week of all the ownership projections, rankings from Awesemo. His articles, also projections. If you wanted to get an all access pass, you get ones for all the sports, including projections from Josh and NBA, Jake and NHL. A lot of great stuff. One thing to note, we are also giving away memberships right now every single day for our 24 days of giveaways. It's the holiday season. We're trying to be generous of spirit and of memberships. So we're giving away rest of season NFL passes. All you have to do right now, like this video. When this live video concludes, there'll be a regular video sitting there. Leave a comment telling us the pick that you're most ashamed of that you played this week. And we will enter you into a chance to win a rest of NFL season pass awesemo.com. So you'll get all of the stuff leading through the playoffs. A lot of showdowns will be going on then. So do that, like this. Leave a comment telling us which pick you're most ashamed of. There's going to be one that busts here this week. So Carlos Hyde looking at you. But leave that in the comments, and you can enter to win a chance to win. We had a ton of comments on the Contrary show yesterday, so people are responding to this. Thankfully, thank the Lord.
Yeah, you're thankful about it. I get an alert on every one of those comments on my phone, so I was wondering why my phone was just lighting up every 30 seconds.
It was 5x the usual comments of people commenting their contrarian picks, but that's good. Oh, also at the end of it all, if you enter, basically you can enter by watching any show here. All of our shows are going to be promoting this. They'll give you something to comment. And at the end of it all, on Christmas Eve, we're going to give away one all-access annual pass. So that's a massive deal, several $100s worth of value coming to you. Get all the sports. You can win an NHL with Jake every single day. So go ahead and comment every single day and just get entries. Just keep racking up the entries like a GPP thing. What else are we doing with the chalky running backs? Aaron Jones, another guy. There's gigantic gusting winds apparently at Lambeau that are going to make it probably very likely to be a running day and a Packers defense day. What do you do with Aaron Jones?
Yeah, he's one of my highest exposed running backs. I love him today.
He looks great. This sucks because this is going to be the slate where somehow this all goes sideways. So who are the obvious plays? We have Ware Aaron Jones, I would say Phillip Lindsay is a tier behind Aaron Jones, but very close. McCaffrey.
I have no Phillip Lindsay.
Why?
Doesn't appear to be popping up for me all that often. Although it does make me a little nervous. He grades out really well in Alex's rankings, but I don't know. Not a guy that I have as of right now.
Does he have a weirder FanDuel price? Because he's 5,400 on DK, I believe.
He's 7,000 on FanDuel, so he is the 8th most expensive running back.
Okay. It's a little tougher, but 2 straight 20-point games. Now we get Cincinnati giving up the most yards in the league and firing defensive coordinators. I like Lindsay.
So I'm more on Emmanuel Sanders and Cortland Sutton than I am on Lindsay. So it's not as if I'm avoiding the Broncos. I just don't have Lindsay.
Okay. I would say you should have some Lindsay, but I think that's, if you are going to draw a line in the sand, that's a fair one because there are other ways to attack. You also have Matt Lacoste coming in at tight end, who has looked good in limited action. As Evan Silva mentioned yesterday, on the contrary, he's been getting targets even though he hasn't been the starting tight end. And it seems like Keenum is really looking for him. So I think that I like Lacoste a lot. But 2,500 on DK, it's really hard to argue with that price.
2,500, you said?
Yep, Lacoste is 2,500 on DK.
Yeah, I wouldn't avoid that. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot more Kelsey. Kelsey is my tight end of the week because I'm not doing. It's not a game reason. Emotionally, I don't want to do the Eric Ebron thing again. I'm done with that.
I'm on Team Ebron.
Just the price thing, or the matchup and the opportunity. Not fun.
It's everything. It's everything.
It's not a fun one for me with Ebron. Just because I remember playing Chalk Ebron earlier this year, and it ended up being okay. I think it was the game versus the Jets, and it was just watching it was stressful in a way. Like DFS is always a little stressful, at least for me, because I do emotionally invest and watch the games and have guys who have a lot of positions on. Ebron's not fun. Like, it's really, if it's going south with Ebron, it's the worst in the league.
I don't think I've gotten him right all year. So if you're on Ebron today, everybody, I can jump off now.
Sorry, 30% of the field. You're going to have a tough day. I hope so. I didn't play a lot of Ebron. I have a little bit, but just in case, go with my Jeff Driscoll.
Look, unless he scores rushing touchdowns and shit again, it's just tight end. I never care all that much.
Bruce Jr. asking no Uzoma, 13 targets after Driscoll came in. I get the logic with going to Uzoma. I think, though, that was more kind of a symptom of that game. Driscoll's definitely going to use the tight end, though, because he is a less good quarterback, even though I think he's not bad. He's going to definitely target him more, but I see this more as an AJ Green game. I want to go to the outside. I also love Tyler Boyd in general, but again, it's an outside receiver game. Boyd's going to be in the slot a fair amount. So I'd rather attack with Green. Personally, I see nothing wrong with Uzoma. I assume you don't have any Uzoma, right, Josh?
I certainly do not.
Okay, yeah. That was like a week 5 play or week 6 play when Eifert went out, and then we didn't see that Uzoma just fucking whiff and fall on his face every single week.
Oh, I'm starting to get nervous now.
What would you change about your lineups if you looking at the percentages you have? What's making you kind of afraid that you don't have enough of or do have too much of?
That's a good question. Let me think about it. I'll just read off all of my big numbers, and then we'll talk about whether or not that makes me nervous. Starting at running back. I don't much care for running back and wide receiver. I guess is really all that matters to me. Quarterback is just sort of a proxy for who I'm stacking. So I'm rarely worried about who the quarterback is coming back. That usually fleshes itself out. Anyway, a lot of Spencer Ware. I'm not nervous about that. A lot of McCaffrey. Not nervous there. Lots of Gurley. Not nervous there. Lots of Aaron Jones. Not nervous there. So I guess my nerves come into play on feeling like I'm going to miss on one of the Jags running backs. And that's more of just a mental thing. I don't have any reason to feel weird. I just know that I'm going to be wrong and it's going to piss me off. I guess at running back, I'm pretty comfortable. Those guys that I mentioned, Ware, McCaffrey, Gurley, and Jones, are making up almost all of my exposure. And I'm just rotating plug and play guys around that. I guess wide receiver is probably the spot that I'm a little bit more nervous. I got a lot of DJ Moore, and I'm cool with it because his price is fine. It feels like it makes me feel like I'm just chasing something.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's really hard not to be interested in this matchup.
I mean, we just saw him. I mean, this is not a reason to not play him, because obviously every game doesn't break the same way. And with Funchess limited on snaps apparently today, there's still a lot of logic going to Moore. But yeah, I mean, that's sort of the issue with Moore. So he had a bad game versus Tampa when he was chalk before. Now he's coming off of a good game where maybe he's actually the number one receiver now, because he's clearly better than Funchess in this offense. But maybe he's not, and he just loses some targets to Funchess and loses some to Olsen and loses some to Samuels, and then you're left with 5 targets and hoping he does something. That's sort of my concern with Moore, and I'm not playing a ton of him.
I get it.
Too many ways to beat Tampa. I think that's sort of the issue with Moore.
What's his price on DraftKings?
5,600.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's 6,400 on FanDuel, so I think he's a little bit better of a value here.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that does make sense.
He's a B points grade and an A value from Alex, so it makes that's like why I don't feel bad about it, basically.
No, that's fair. I probably don't have enough of him. I just prefer on DK. I'd rather save more and go down to Humphreys. Humphreys is a guy I'm on a lot this week.
I have some,
and that worries me too.
I have a lot of that game. So Godwin, Humphreys, Evans, Moore, McCaffrey, Jameis, Cam. Like, if that game goes the way that it can, you're going to want a lot of bites.
I've got precious little Godwin. I just think that he to me seems like the easiest fade out of that group. Other than maybe Evans. I'm not crazy about Evans this week just because of the matchup he's going to have. But Godwin to me, I don't get it. Like, he hasn't had the same vibe with Jameis. I don't think he's going to be used the same way as Deshaun was. I'd rather go with the slot guy. Slot guys have been really good versus the Panthers, including last week where Tyler Lockett just destroyed him. Humphreys is not Tyler Lockett, but you can get peppered with a ton of targets. I just think the matchup grades out better for him than it does Godwin, and at half the ownership. I don't know.
I don't disagree. Godwin is the guy that's popping up the most for me, and I guess when we originally started this conversation of what's making you nervous, I should have just said Chris Godwin from the beginning.
Are you with the field on him on ownership?
I would imagine I'm way above. It's been a while since I looked at it. I'm neutral now.
Okay. That's fair.
See, I don't know if we've talked about this on the show previously. It throws me off even more to take Chris Godwin because I know someone named Chris Godwin. He used to smash my wife's best friend.
Oh.
So
was his brother Phineas ever there, or Henry O?
No, he's not a pig farmer or anything.
Okay. No slot bucket that he would dump on her after.
He didn't not at all. But that would be funny. I really like the dude too. So like, it's weird when I see his name or hear his name. I'm just anchored to him differently.
No, that's fair. I'm anchored to the Godwin brothers of the mid '90s WWF.
Yeah, I'm more of a Midian guy if we're talking about gimmicks, but this is not that show. That's live before WrestleMania.
Live. I would also like to do live before Red Dead Redemption. That would be
Jesus.
Oh God, what an emotional journey that is.
Yeah, I'm starting to see some signs that it's going to be really emotionally difficult for me moving forward, but we don't have to talk about that right now.
In the future though, at some point, I'm probably gonna write it more than I am gonna do it on a video. But like, there's a lot of things to unpack about that game from a human psychology perspective and the way it approaches things. So like, I feel like it tries to guide you towards being a good person, whereas all the other games guide you towards being a bad one. I don't know.
Yeah, I wish that I could just immediately get out of the life right now and go build a camp and just fish and hunt every day and just not have to worry about robbing people or beating people in the streets.
Did you meet your ex-girlfriend who's kind of stuck up? But
I just got to the letter.
Okay. Yeah. So like, that's when you meet her, you're like, oh man, this could have been your life, Arthur. This could have been better.
Yeah. I immediately saw it and looked around and I read the letter and I was just like, you know what? It probably is a lot better than being here, although it's very nice where I'm currently located. But I just want to go hunt a deer and cook it over a fire and eat it. Tired of getting shot at by the O'Driscolls.
They're such assholes. Them and the Lemoyne Raiders, they can all go to hell. Football-wise, All right, so let's really break it down. Spencer Ware is going to be the big question of the day.
Yeah.
What are his odds on failure? Like, what would you rate out of a percentage? Like 50% chance of failing, 60%, 30%, 10%?
Fail. Okay, so it's two different questions. If we're talking about cash, his odds of failure are essentially 0. He's just too cheap and too highly owned for it to matter. You're playing him, you shouldn't bat an eye. In a tournament, I mean, I don't mind being under. If you're trying to I'm kind of poaching the words of Manny this morning. I was watching his stream, so hi Manny. I'm sure you're not watching this. If you're playing like the optimizer game and you crunch out 150 lineups, you should probably be getting Spencer Ware in like 95% of those lineups. It's just he is too good of a point per dollar play. That's not how tournaments work. You're not trying to maximize your score with an like your goal isn't to try to maximize your score. Your goal is to put yourself in a position to have the highest score in relation to everyone else. And those are two different things. So would it shock you at all if he put up like 90 yards and no touchdowns because Tyreek Hill had 2 and Kelsey had 1? Absolutely not. So it's easy for him to be a quote unquote bust in a tournament. But in cash, I wouldn't even bat an eye at it. You just jam him in and you don't think about it. Play other people then too.
Yeah, so to me, like I find it hard to believe that Ware won't get 4x because I think he's going to get you 9 points through either catches and rushing yards, and I think he's getting you 1 touchdown. Like, I think he's getting you 1 rushing touchdown. So like to me, that's it. But then if you have a day where like McCaffrey puts up 32, Gurley puts up 30, Aaron Jones puts up 28, then you're sort of in a weird spot where like you might have exceeded on value, but you're missing out on the raw points on a tournament, and that's sort of where my concern with Ware is.
I would be less interested, or I would be less worried about those guys going off and more worried about guys in his price range going off that you're missing on. Because if you're playing Spencer Ware, what you're doing by playing Spencer Ware is giving yourself more money to get to the guys that you just mentioned. So they're going to go hand in hand. If those guys go off and Spencer Ware is pedestrian, the guys that are going to be in the best shape are the guy, whoever's on the 5 to 6K guy that pops off. Spencer Ware unlocks the more expensive guys for you.
True. Yeah, no. So, okay. So I'm with you on that. I think the thing though, to me is more just like, if you need to have 3 of those running backs in there and then you have Ware kind of soaking up that spot, like then, or like, because let's say the value receivers, like I like Humphreys. I think there's some value in like Marcel Aitman. I think there's some value in like, Godwin could be a play too. Conley could be a play. Like there's a lot of guys in that cheap receiver range who I think could make up the difference, where it might make sense to take the value there, pay up a running back and just differentiate and pay it for like Mahomes. And then you're good. I don't know. It's a weird one. Like it's a sort of a weird Sophie's Choice question, which we're getting with like 1 day notice when most people start doing their prep. So it's interesting.
I would guess that more people will be mad about Spencer Ware than happy about Spencer Ware by the time the day is over. With that said, you can't avoid him entirely. That would be silly.
It's too good of a matchup versus Oakland too. They're I think I'm not a DVP guy, but I did see they give up the most points to running backs in terms of fantasy as well. On paper, they just give up a ton of yards across the board. They are a worse pass defense team than a rush team or rush defense team. So that is noteworthy. If you are trying to pivot off and go with like a Mahomes, whoever, Hill, Kelsey stack, Conley, if you want to throw him in there too. There are ways to pivot within that Kansas City, scoring total. Like let's say they put up a defensive touchdown and then Mahomes throws for 4. That's the entire scoring for the game. And then you don't need Ware.
True.
Are you running it back with any Raiders?
Nope. I very specifically put in a rule to not do that.
So here's a funny thing. Somebody, I think it might have been Pat Mayo, because I saw that our guy Ben was on the Pat Mayo show on DraftKings. And he was calling Jalen Richard Rocket Richard. I feel like we're giving out these names a little too much to guys who haven't done anything good.
Well, that one's just, play on words for people named Richard in the past.
No, look, I agree, but I would prefer, granted, I did name Damian Ratley the Rat Man, but that's not giving him like a positive nickname. That's like...
Also, no one else is going to ever use that name.
What if I call him Rocket Ratley? Like, it would be totally undeserved. I think it's totally undeserved that Jalen Richard's Rocket Richard.
Well, he's only Rocket Richard because his last name was Richard. If his last
Rocket
name was
Rat?
Jalen Williams, he's not going to call him Rocket Williams.
Rocket Ratley.
Wait, like, hold on. You know that Rocket Richard is like a real person, right?
No, I know. I know he's real. Wait, what?
He's not. So Rocket Richard is already a person.
No.
He was a hockey player, like
back
in the day.
Oh, I'm supposed to know that.
I mean, he's a legendary hockey player. So
wait, his name's more Reese,
right? And he went as Rocket Richard. So like that's why he's calling him Rocket. It's not just because like Richard is fast.
Well, so on the same show, he called another guy Smoke, who was not John Brown. Might have been. People call him Taquan Mizell, Smoke Mizell. I think that was one. That might be an actual nickname too. I don't know. I feel like there's too many nicknames that overlap, and I want guys. Only if you've had like 3 big games in a year can you officially have a nickname that we're all supposed to know.
Now, if your last name's Richard, I bet people have called him Rocket a lot in life. Well, maybe not him in particular, but like most people.
Yeah, you think so?
You know what I mean?
I think that's. I don't know about that one.
You know what I mean.
J Kelly 13 in the premium Slack pointing out Rat Man. I mean, listen, nobody's saying the Rat Man is like a positive nickname.
Yeah, everyone wants to be Rat Man. That'll be like Paul Rudd being Ant Man.
I'm thinking more like the Rat King and Ninja Turtles. I don't know if that's too esoteric of a reference. You dressed up like a mummy, like a camouflage mummy, and lived in the sewers and directed the rats. The Rat King.
Anyway. Let's pick 100-yard guys.
Yeah, let's do that. Oh yeah, so last week, I think we were both right last week.
I mean, I definitely was right.
Hold on.
I had Juju. He almost got it on one play.
Yes, you did have Juju. That's right. I got there too. I had Matt Breida, who also got there. Also an underrated play this week. Matt Breida, nobody on after everybody was on last week, and it's a pretty similar matchup for him.
To pull that Sterling Shepard line. Fuck that noise. Why am I getting Sterling Shepard? I have him at 0 ownership. -50.
You're a big Eli guy. That's one of the things people know about you.
Yeah, look, if I'm going to be playing guys from the Giants on a one-off basis, it's probably not going to be the second wide receiver and at best the third priority on the team.
Smoke is Mizell's legit nickname. Went to high school. All right, fine. So he gets to keep his too, I guess. But I don't know, man. I want a nickname board who agrees on these things, like a tribunal that everybody votes on.
I've agreed with everything that every nickname that's been presented to me so far today.
But if Damian Ratley had a big game, then he would be the Rat King, and then we'd be, and it would all come full circle. All right, so for the year, Josh has 6 100-yard guys correct. I have 5, so it's becoming a game now down the stretch, which is where we want it to be because that's when I pass Josh, just like the home run game. So let's see you're in the lead. You go first.
Alrighty. So I'm going to stick to guys that I have a ton of so that I can cheer for myself in more than one instance. I wouldn't. Let's just do it. Give me Kenny Golladay.
I like that pick. I don't have enough of them, but I think it's a strong one. Also, ton of ownership on Bruce Ellington this week on DK. I assume probably on FanDuel too. Much rather have Golladay. 10 times out of 10.
Ellington's cheap. If you're stacking Rams, things can get a little expensive with Gurley plus another receiver if you have it, or both receivers if you have Woods and Cooks. So that artificially bumps up Ellington's exposure because he's a natural comeback.
For me, I'm going to go Aaron Jones. The running backs have been strong for me the last 2 weeks. David Johnson and Matt Breida both getting there. I just don't see a way Jones doesn't get a ton of touches this week versus in a windy game versus a Cardinals team who the way to beat him is running it. So Aaron Jones.
Maybe we could do a new gimmick for Aaron Jones, kind of like Mike Jones, but instead of saying who, we say like why or how. No?
How about Air Jones? Because his name is Aaron and he flies through the air.
I like mine better. How?
I think
Aaron Jones. No?
We need to go to the nickname tribunal and get together about things.
I don't think a lot of people are going to know who Mike Jones is in the chat, so it's probably not going to help.
I don't remember the number.
1-330-8004. No?
Yeah.
I still know his phone number.
I dyslexic it up in my head every time. Let's see. Yeah, see, people say nicknames you don't even know what they're talking about. Tell me about it when you're a person who has to read chats from people all day, and you're like, "Hey, do you like F-A-F?" Oh, why I almost like fart? Do you like fart at all? Like what? Who's fart? And it's like, well, Dwight Howard farted once on a teammate, and that's why we call him fart.
I thought you were about to call someone FAO Schwartz.
That would have been good too, because he brings the toys. He's got a weapon of chest full of toys to bring to every game. FAO Schwartz. I would like that. That'd be a fun.
That could be a good one for like, I don't know, who's got the most. It would have been the Rams at like the beginning of the season. You could have called them FAO Schwartz because Goff has a ton of toys.
I don't know. I don't like that noise I just made, but I did like that enough that I made that noise. Let's see. People ask about chalky wide receivers. Well, you would know all the chalky wide receivers if you signed up for a free week at awesemo.com. All the ownership projections you could possibly need for a slate like this. And on a slate like this, they're more important than ever. So go use that promo code live before lock for 1 week free, or like and comment, and you can get a free rest of NFL season pass. So do that. Woo! But I'll look up ownership on wide receivers. I don't really.
There you go. You told them.
Oh, do you want to play the game I play with Eddie for the top 5 guys? I find this fun, but mostly because I'm not the one who has to guess. It's Family Feud style. So you just you name a guy, and I either X you out or I give you a yes.
What am I guessing?
Guessing the top 5 owned wide receivers on DK.
I mean, I don't really want to, but sure. Why not? No, I have no idea what anybody's price is on DraftKings, so I'm kind of flying blind here.
I like it.
Okay. So let's go with Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill is up there as well. There's no easy way to separate this, huh? He is up there. He is the 1, 2, 3,
just filter
4.
by wide receiver.
Well, yeah, but then it doesn't sort by ownership.
Sure, it does.
No, it goes. Oh, does it? All right. You know what? Fuck. Oh, it does. Huh.
Damn, man. Which site do you work for?
I never sort by position on this because I put it in my Excel usually. Okay, so you are correct on Tyreek Hill. He's number 4.
Okay. Let me sort this differently. Is there anybody that's just priced like crazy low that wouldn't jump out to me?
There are 2 guys who are priced crazy low, both of whom I have mentioned, and one of whom you talked about at some degree of length.
Okay. DJ Moore?
DJ Moore is one of them. He's number 5, 15.7% projected ownership.
Okay. Brandon Cooks?
He is not in that list, but not far behind, top 10.
Okay.
Shares a name with one of your friends who smashed somebody else.
Wait, Chris Godwin?
Yeah, he's the highest owned wide receiver on DK at 24%.
Okay, what's his price?
$3,900.
That'll do it. Like if you told me that his price was $3,900 20 minutes ago, I would have known to guess Chris Godwin. I don't ever look at it. So
number 2 and 3. Number 2, very cheap. Number 3, very expensive. Yeah. Yes.
Thielen?
He is number 3, correct. 16 or 18.5 projected ownership.
And then, I mean, getting the cheap, like, should I get the cheap guy? Or is he owned because he's cheap?
He's owned because there are no bodies left on his team, and he is also cheap, and he's in a matchup versus the highest scoring team in the league.
Dude from the Raiders?
I think the Rams are the highest scoring team in the league. Might be the Chiefs. Never mind. It's Bruce Ellington at number 2 with 22.8 projected ownership, 22.8% projected ownership. So Bruce Ellington chalk. How about that?
I was like, oh my God, how chalky is Marcel Aitman? But
Marcel Aitman, no, he's still an under-owned gem. That boy, Marcel Aitman, is 10 targets for 1 point whatever yards per target.
Yeah, you caught me off guard with that one.
I'm playing a little Marcel the Shell.
Good
nickname.
You and your damn nicknames, man. You're killing me here.
Rocket Marcel.
Worse.
What if Aitman has a big day? Can he just steal Rocket Richard's nickname?
No, because his last name's not Richard. If his last name was like Ishmael or something, maybe.
Oh. People are complaining in the YouTube chat right now about focusing on DK. We don't focus on DK. I focus on DK. Josh focuses on FanDuel. We're talking about both.
Yeah, we're literally covering both.
Yeah, playing that game with Josh wouldn't have been fun because he knows he knows the FanDuel ownership.
I've been looking at this shit all day.
Let's see. Bruce Ellington, Mr. USC. He is not Mr. USC. That is Robert Woods out of NFL players currently.
It's Matt Barkley.
One real nasty game. Oh my God.
I mean, every game that he has is nasty. It just depends on how you want to use that word.
Fair point. DMing me, this guy. So there's this guy in the premium Slack DMing me for a lineup. Like, where do you follow what we're doing here at all?
I probably get more messages while we're live than I do when we're not.
Which is just illogical, but also like DMing me asking for a lineup is not a thing. We don't sell lineups here. We'll never sell lineups. That's not a thing. But
he's not like he wasn't asking like, oh, do you like this lineup? It was
like, can you give me a lineup?
No.
Yeah, play Marcel Aitman and all the 3K guys.
Yeah, we don't give out lineups. I mean, I'm sharing them on my screen the whole damn time. Pause it and take one if you'd like.
Yeah.
I'm also on my 66th crunch on Fantasy Cruncher this morning, so we're off to a great start. 21 minutes to go.
Ooh, crunching your little day away. What else do we have? What defenses are coming up for you? I know you don't care about defenses, but the people out there do. So which ones are popping up the most for you in your crunches?
That's a good question. Wait, let me refresh this.
Hmm?
Also, I should probably save this sheet. I don't think I've done that in the past 25 minutes, and I don't want that to happen to me.
That's fair.
Dolphins, Packers, Patriots.
No Titans. I feel like Titans are another popular one. Chiefs, another popular one.
Neither of those two.
Chiefs, I think, makes some sense. I just played a ton of Packers, and I have a little bit of Dolphins besides that. It feels. Are you buying into Josh Allen at all?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Is there a reason we should?
So I test more than box score, though the box score is interesting because he threw for like the most air yards. I feel like of anybody this year. I don't know that that's actually true, but he threw for like a lot of air yards last week.
How many could he have possibly thrown for last week, man? He threw for 160 yards in the entire game.
Well, he was 8 for like 20, but he threw for a lot of air yards. He just aired it out a lot. So there is some sort of value in him.
I'd love for. I mean, there's value in him if he continues to run the ball, but if he has to throw it, I think he's going to need a couple more than 8 completions.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, the thing with Josh Allen is you would be hoping to get both. I don't know. He just kind of looked. I don't want to say good, but he looked fantasy interesting. I would say last week with how he was throwing that ball. So to Robert Foster in particular, he looked. I don't know. There's good chemistry on deep balls, and he only needs 2 in a game to really.
What are you talking about?
What?
He completed 8. He was 8 of 19 passing. How are we talking like he was a good passer last week?
He wasn't a good passer, but if you're throwing for a lot of yards, at least you have a shot. And I think he was viable in tournaments for people. So I don't know. I feel like he's worth discussing on some. Did you watch any of his film? He looked interesting.
If we're talking about him, it has to be about him running the ball heavily. We cannot talk about him as a passer. The last 3 games he started, 19, 17, and 19 attempts. That's not fantasy viable in any way, shape, or form.
I need to see the air. I don't know how to do week to week QB air yards because I only have NFL Stats has them only for the year.
Don't play Josh Allen. Let me just put that out there for everybody right now.
Everybody play Josh Allen
unless he literally doesn't have a salary. If he is a true free square, knock yourself.
He is priced up a little. Well, who would you rather play, Jeff Driscoll or Josh Allen?
I'm thinking. It's not like the stream froze. I mean, Josh Allen, but I'm not stacking him.
No, I agree. No, don't stack Josh Allen. But a naked Josh Allen, I think if the price fits, I think is okay to have 1 or 2 if you're doing a bunch of lineups. 10.8 attempted air yards per attempt, which is just second in the league behind Jameis Winston. That's the reason you would play Josh Allen is that he throws deep balls.
Not enough volume.
Okay, it's fair. 26 points last week. That's all I'm saying.
Again, what did I just say? Do you know why he had 26 points? Because he had 13 carries for 99 yards and a touchdown.
You know, he's a dual threat.
He ran the ball more than he completed passes.
The old dual threat. Jake Kelly in the premium Slack, the champion of all shit QBs. Somebody out there has to hype these QBs up, and I'm that person.
He's a single threat. It's just not passing, which is generally a prerequisite for being a good quarterback.
No, that's fair. I think Josh Allen's getting, so this hurts me because I've been on Josh Rosen a lot. I think Josh Allen's getting closer to being a fantasy viable QB because of the rushing yards and because he throws it deep than Josh Rosen is. I think Josh Rosen might be okay next year, but I'm not playing Josh Rosen again this year. Josh Allen, I'm playing this week a little.
I will play neither of those guys ever.
A little taste, just a little,
ever.
Little Josh Allen. Just like Mama used to make.
17 minutes, people. Get all your Josh Allen lineups in now. It should take you about 5 seconds.
It's true. Just plug them in somewhere. You know, the price works. You're paying up for a bunch of dudes. You want to get a little Josh Allen exposure. Just a little taste. That's how you get hooked. What games have we not talked about that are interesting to you? Cleveland at Houston, maybe?
That is not a very interesting game to me unless we're talking about the Houston side, and even then, I'm not really happy about it.
I didn't play any lineups this way. I kind of feel like this game could shoot out.
Shootout?
Yeah. I mean, look how much Baker's been throwing it.
Yeah.
And also Watson also been throwing it more. And Lamar can run it pretty well.
I don't hate it.
It's totally underowned, and I feel like this is the game. I mean, we saw this last year. Seattle and Houston was a similar thing with Watson, and you know, I do think sometimes they can induce shootouts with how Watson plays if he can get yards, and he should be able to get yards versus Cleveland.
I have Watson as one of my potential quarterbacks, if that helps.
I have a couple Watson-Hopkins stacks, but I didn't run it back with Cleveland, I don't think. And I have a little bit of Landry, but I don't think they're in the same lineup.
Tell me how Josh Allen is different from Lamar Jackson. He's not?
He throws the ball deep, and Lamar Jackson is like contractually not allowed to throw it more than 10 yards.
Yeah, he's just not for me.
I mean, I would think Lamar's. I mean, you would play Lamar, whereas like you're clearly not super interested in playing Josh Allen.
I wouldn't play either of them.
I
would play Lamar over Josh Allen for sure. I'm not playing any Lamar.
Did you play Lamar either of the last 2 weeks?
I did not. I might have 2 weeks ago. Whatever week he was cheap, like really cheap.
Okay.
I guess that would have been 2 weeks ago then, right? No.
Yeah.
My memory's shit.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. He's had 2 games. Both of them he's improved a little in both.
Okay.
It's a really nice matchup versus Atlanta. I guess they're getting some guys back off the IR or off the injured list rather. But in terms of like the passing opportunity versus Atlanta, it does seem pretty high for Lamar this week.
Josh Allen will be better than Aaron Rodgers in 5 years. Save this and remember me.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers is getting worse by the year, so that's not impossible.
Aaron Rodgers has 1 interception this year. People are writing him off like he's dead. Maybe the rest of the team just sucks. This dude's he's on one leg. He's thrown 1 interception this entire season. How's that possible?
You know, I don't know. He's also not really throwing like risky passes a lot. Like he seems like he's been.
You think he's going to jam it in so Equanimous St. Brown can go up and get it?
No, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Like, who's he throwing to? The ghost of Jimmy Graham.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling had some.
Right, like we're talking about guys that the fact that he only has 1 interception is a testament to how good he is.
No, you're right. That's totally fair. I guess he's more in I think he's getting closer to the Peyton Manning role, unless they have another coach who comes in who really opens things up. But I think if they stick with his current regime, he's getting closer to like Peyton Manning in Denver territory. I think that makes it possible Josh Allen is at least more interesting in 5 years.
Hold on, maybe I'm reading. Oh, if I'm reading that and saying Aaron, like I read that as Josh Allen will be a better football player in 5 years than like Aaron Rodgers, not like than Aaron Rodgers in 5 years, because Aaron Rodgers in 5
Oh.
years like shouldn't be that good.
Yeah, no, he should be on his last legs. So I thought that was a totally fair one.
Yeah, Josh Allen should be better than Aaron Rodgers in 5 years.
Let's see here. Sir Legend in the premium Slack asking, Rams have given it up to tight end over the last 5 weeks or more, I think. Are there any viable tight ends for Detroit? No.
Not to me.
Yeah, I would not play a Detroit tight end. I think the logic you would apply there would be that you would go with Ellington then, because he's going to be playing out of the slot. That's sort of functionally similar to a tight end.
Yeah. I gotta pee.
Just go in a bottle like a cab driver.
Ew.
Snapple bottle so you can get it in there correctly.
I need more than that, man.
I think you're overrating the.
Give me a 20-ounce Mountain Dew, I'll be fine.
All right, checking the premium Slack. Nothing else here. Riddick over. Oh yeah, any LeGarrette Blount for you? He was one of Alex's contrarian picks, and I kind of agreed.
I have him set for one lineup, and that's it.
It's tough but fair.
He's just untrustworthy.
Like the 19 touches are ridiculous that he got last week. I mean, they made sense here or there rather, but you really are banking then on the Rams playing slow and not getting out of the gates. I think because if they should score 3 touchdowns within that first quarter and a half, one would think, and that would hopefully take LeGarrette Blount out of consideration. Hopefully,
he's just because I have so much Kenny Golladay right now. LeGarrette Blount is the guy that I'm going to want to stab by the end of this game, where I'm going to see I'm going to open up my phone and be like, oh, nice. Here we go. Oh, the Lions are on the 1. LeGarrette Blount touchdown. He's going to vulture the TDs. I could see it already.
Which Rams wide receiver would you want in a FanDuel GPP?
I'm doing my best to get both.
Not all 3. No Josh Reynolds.
No Josh Reynolds.
I think that's wrong.
That's the first I've thought about him all day.
I think that's very wrong. He's on the field 90% of the snaps and running what Woods was running.
He's a D points grade and a D value grade. So I'm gonna continue to ignore him wholeheartedly.
I would respectfully disagree with our ranking on that one. What is his price on FanDuel?
5,600 or something.
All right, it's a little high. What is he on?
5,800.
He's a D&D on DraftKings too. I don't know. I think that's sort of underrating Josh Reynolds. I think people think of him like Chris Conley, and I don't think he's being used like Chris Conley is, where he's just kind of on the field. He's getting more and more targeted each time he's out there. And Woods is in the slot now. Reynolds is outside. Cooks is going to have what's his name? Darius Slay on him. So it's just sort of, I think people are underrating Josh Reynolds a little bit. I wouldn't have a ton, but a little disrespect for Mr. Reynolds for the old Reynolds rap.
3% expected ownership, a D and a D. If you want to have him, you can put him in 1 or 2 lineups and I guess feel comfortable.
6% on DK. So DK players a little smarter than FanDuel players. That's what we all say.
Oh, Alex, on the other hand, apparently not so smart.
Nah, that guy. What does he know? What does he know in his fantasy football championships?
Agreed.
Thoughts on Cousins? That game could be sneaky high scoring. I think with Cousins right now, you're waiting on that news with Diggs and whether he's active or not, because that's going to screw up everything if he's out. But I don't mind Cousins. Do you have any Cousins exposure?
Nope, 0.
Yeah, I don't either, but I get the reasons why. It should be high scoring enough. I think I might be inclined to take the under in that game, though. I think the Vikings are a little better defense than people are giving credit for.
I'm trying to only have Gronk out of that game.
Yeah, that's fair. I have some Edelman. I think I have one Josh Gordon just in case because he can always beat any coverage. I'm not super worried about Xavier Rhodes, at least in theory. But it's not a positive spot for them. There was something I heard this week, and I don't remember where it was, so I'm not deliberately not giving credit. Apparently, they target the Vikings give up a ton of passes down underneath to running backs, and that could make it a James White game. But I'm not playing a lot of James White.
I don't have any James White.
Yeah, I believe they give up the most passes to running backs and it might be most yards too, but I don't want to misquote that. But it's like a really big number of them with pass catching running backs that could result. I think it might have been a Ringer podcast who said this. Now that I think about it. Is Funchess playing? Funchess is playing, but he is allegedly limited. But as we've seen in the NFL this year, that could mean anything.
Yeah.
Sure. Which of the 3 Baltimore receivers would you pair with Lamar? I would be inclined to pair none with Lamar, but
none.
Yeah, you could go naked Lamar. Sir Legend.
Yep.
For a single entry, he's going Lamar. So the brave go the spoils.
What else you got for me? Uploading
Reading
my
the
lineups.
chat. McCaffrey or Chubb? He says Chubbs. So either McCaffrey or you. I'd go McCaffrey.
I mean, if anybody's answering that question other than McCaffrey, they're making a gigantic mistake.
You playing any Chubb this week?
I might have him in one lineup, but I mean, they are not comparable in terms of plays.
Yes. Yeah. I would agree there. They are not even close, and I would much rather prefer McCaffrey no matter what the price differential. But I like Chubb, but I'm not playing him this week. I've been wrong. I've been trying to get off of him.
And trying to get off the Chubb?
I've been trying to get the Chubb off. And, I've been trying to avoid Chubb for because he was so chalky the last few weeks. And I tried going to Duke Johnson last week, and Duke Johnson's just not involved. He did have one goal line pass, which he could have turned into a touchdown, but they're clearly dedicated to using Chubb in different ways. I don't think Duke Johnson is a viable play.
I just realized now that it's Chubb and Johnson.
It is. That is. I'm sure there's a fertile playing ground there for a nickname for that backfield, similar to Thunder and Lightning.
Yeah.
Boner boys.
That's not bad.
Hey, lots of great nicknames today to submit to the nickname tribunal.
You get the Triple B logo, the big boner boys.
Get sued by LeVar Ball. Demaryius Thomas or Funchess? Money is same. Restriction has me worried on Funchess. I'd go Funchess, but I'd also go neither.
Thomas for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a pretty solid value in my opinion on FanDuel.
Okay. Rhodes might not play. He's a game time decision. Yeah, sure. If Rhodes not playing, that would make Gordon a better play, unequivocally. Gurley Rams D is the thing. Any Rams D and Gurley pairings?
I don't have any Rams D.
Fair enough. I do not have any. I have a little bit of Rams D. I don't think paired with Gurley though. I think the correlation play might be a little overrated too. I feel like I listen to so many things in a given week. I don't remember where any of it comes from now, but I feel like somebody was saying that the correlation between D and running backs is not that important or as important as it was in previous years.
I don't try to link them together.
Yeah, I feel like I've been doing that out of habit, but it actually doesn't matter as much as some of the QB, running back, wide receiver correlations.
Yeah, it's not one that I pay attention to.
Yeah, that's fair. Falcons can't defend the slot, can they? They're also getting, I think it's Deion Jones is the one who's back this week, but don't misquote me on that because to be honest, I'm not Evan Silva in terms of the defensive guys rotating in and out, but I think that's supposed to help the Falcons defend the slot a little better. And people want to buy into the Willie Snead like squeaky wheel narrative as though that's a thing. We talked about that on the Contrary show yesterday, but he had like a tantrum on the sidelines, I guess, because he had no targets last week. I don't think Willie Snead is a guy you could go as like a squeaky wheel. That would be just like a wheel. You're like, yeah, if that wheel falls off, we're fine.
Yeah, fuck that wheel.
You can go with 3 wheels. Tricycles work. Corey Randall, what about Demaryius Thomas since Kiki is out? Yeah, I guess that would give Demaryius a little bit of a boost, but I'd still rather go to Hopkins.
Sure.
ET is washed. I think that's also not an unfair take.
Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah, we will find out today. If he could get going, this is a matchup to get going. Can you play Lindsey with Sanders? I think you can.
Sure. I'm not.
Especially versus Cincinnati, who's giving up over 400 yards a game. It's perfectly fine.
I mean, if you're doing that, then you're playing. You should be playing Jesus
AJ.
Christ. Goddamn quarterback.
Oh, but Keenum? Keenum is actually an interesting play to me.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. I just kept thinking Osweiler.
It's very similar guys, not dissimilar results.
2 minutes to go.
Boy, you know what? This is 1 week where I'm not like, oh, I'm really worrying about my lineups. I'm gonna worry about the Diggs part later. That'll be after we got off the air, whether I have to worry about Thielen or not. Thoughts on T.Y. Hilton? Any thoughts at all for you on that Hilton and the Colts passing offense?
Not really. Not a spot that I'm looking. No issues ever with T.Y. Hilton, but it's not for me today.
Logically, it is a fine enough spot versus the Jags D, who's not been doing much, but I did not go there today. I still respect the Jags D enough. I think they've given up some scores and stuff, but I don't think they're giving up monster games for the most part.
Oh, well, here goes nothing.
Ooh. And our boy Andrew Mocked giving a hot take in the chat. Josh Allen, 225 passing, 75 rushing, 2 passing, 1 rushing TD. The Josh Allen hype train is picking up steam like a Red Dead Redemption train about to be robbed.
Are those his totals for the rest of the season?
All in one game versus the Dolphins. Dolphins are a beatable pass attack or a pass defense.
Yeah, he'll only need 40 yards per completion to do that.
Hey, look, with his air yards total, that's very possible.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is the new Dan Marino. He just slings it. That's all he does.
And doesn't win anything?
Correct. And sells us shitty gloves. All those things.
12:59 and change.
Thoughts on Taylor Gabriel? I have none. I'm not playing any Browns or any Bears this week.
First I've seen his name this week.
Yeah. I think that's a game where it's going to might get a little ugly. I get people wanting to buy into a shootout there, but not for me. Not in Chase Daniel, as Evan Silva calls him, the pop gun arm Chase Daniel. Not the most fun watching him on Thanksgiving when I had a ton of lineups with him. He just is not an accurate dude and doesn't have a big arm at all, but not a bad matchup versus the Giants.
Can you guys get Eddie on to do daddy like? No.
No, but Eddie will be on later doing NBA talk.
He will.
And he will give you all the things that daddy likes on a Sunday when you're playing NBA.
Yeah.
What a shit NBA slate that was yesterday, by the way. Oof.
Yeah, that one didn't go well.
I was not going to play it, and then I did last minute because I was just kind of hanging out.
And then you remember that we're all gambling addicts.
That is correct.
Sorry, it's not gambling. I have to say that, I guess.
I'll put in 5 lineups is what I figured. And boy, that Nets side was terrible versus the Wizards. And my Pacers lineups did well. Like that finished top 500, which I was happy with. But so that kind of negated the bad sides of the other 4 lines. Boy, those other 4 lineups were dog shit.
Oh God.
I didn't feel bad about it though, because like it was my projections were basically the same as Fantasy Crunchers for that, and we both were off on the Nets yesterday. What a piece of shit.
Driscoll and Zoma stack. There you go.
Go for it, Bruce. Get that Driscoll money, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's enough. Any parting words on anything? Anything we're worried about now? It's going to go south. How is this slate going to go south? That's what I wonder.
I don't know. Everybody that I played will probably play like shit if I had to guess. So,
for me,
me on shows tomorrow. That we could talk about that.
What shows tomorrow? What?
I won't be. I'll be gone. No me on anything tomorrow. Yeah, Josh is traveling for. This is the holiday party, right? It is. I'm heading to Tampa tomorrow. Tampa, bitches. I'm gonna suck some titties. Sorry, that's some Stevie Janowski. I'm sure your wife would love to see you go suck some titties at the largest strip club in Tampa. Just hers. She's going to. Oh, Josh made you 80K last year. He loves you. Rise up 84. Shit, do I get a cut? Give a little under the table to Josh and me by default. Hey, give me a little under the table. Strategy show tomorrow will be Emac and Adam. America's favorite odd couple duo, killing it on Saturdays, moving up to the prime time slot on Mondays. So tune in for that. I'll have a showdown video for tomorrow's showdown slate, not tonight's, coming up at some point today when I feel motivated to sit on camera again and write a script and edit. Like, ugh, it's fucking terrible, stupid showdown.
It's always dog shit showdowns now too. Washington, Philly. Who wants to play that? Who cares? Go to hell.
There you go.
But I'll do it anyway with great enthusiasm and a smile on my face. Only you guys will know that I want to kill myself breaking down these dog shit games that aren't Rams Chiefs. But there we go. Those are our thoughts for the week. Thank you guys for sticking with us, even though it's early for me and this is a confusing slate, which is going to go wrong in some way, which we can't even foresee. But we appreciate you sticking with us. Make sure to like the video. Leave a comment on the static version, which is going to come after this, with the play you feel most ashamed of that you made this week, and you'll be entered to win a free NFL rest of season pass. That'll be all the ownership projections and rankings you would get if you were a paying member for the NFL season. You'll get them all throughout the playoffs, all up to the Super Bowl. You want to degenerate some Super Bowl betting or strategy lineup creation, you can do that. So go like the video, drop a comment in the regular version once this finishes, and you'll be entered to win, as well as entered to win the grand prize at the end of it all, an all-access membership that we're giving away on Christmas Eve. 1 year's worth of free content from all of your favorite Awesemo personalities, including Awesemo. So there we go. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck. Josh, parting words?
Same. Good luck. Later on.